Okay, my name is Qualified. And I call myself qualified because I am qualified to be speaking on whatever I'm speaking on when I'm speaking on it. And I'm not just subject to one qualification. Uh, there's many qualifications or whatever. So, but this video, I wanna redo the Egyptian gods and goddesses. Egyptian gods and goddesses and where they come from. But this is part one of a redo because I don't really like the way the first video went if you watched it. And by the time you see this video, the first video that I put out will be deleted. So I'm actually redoing this because I feel like I skipped a couple of steps and I feel like I should restart over. So I'm gonna still touch on whatever I said I was gonna touch on within the video of the last video. But in this video, I want to take it back a little further and start things out a little bit differently to show you some things because in order to understand existence and where it comes from, you got to understand the basics, sticks and stones. So I'm gonna start there. So let's jump into it. All right. So once again, this is the Book of Enoch, and to start this out, I got to read something out of here. Once again, I got to if you've seen the video, I'm gonna read the same part that I read, but I got to read. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I got to read something out of here because this is gonna change your view and it's gonna really start you out in the beginning to put you in the mind of where this stuff really come from. But before I read that, um, once again, the book of Enoch comes from the book of Genesis. And the book of Genesis, if you don't know, is is the book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible. The Holy Bible contains books and stories from parts of time. So Genesis is the first book of the Bible. So before I get into the video, my outlook on the Bible is the right teaching and it can lead you in the right way. But I feel like the Bible does have some loose information, as in all the information is not given to you, and all the information could be given to you, but some is held back and twisted. Because it's been rewritten over time and over time. And then the first Bible wasn't written in English. It was written in whatever. I'm not sure, but it wasn't written in English. We know that. But I'm just saying, I feel like things are taken from the Bible and certain things may be added to make it look funny. But for the most part, the Bible is real. So, with that being said, I want to start this out like this. Genesis is the first book. In the first book of Genesis, everybody know about Adam and Eve. Adam was the man, and Eve was the woman, and Eve bit the apple off of a tree she wasn't supposed to bite off of, um, from talking to a serpent. That was man and woman. But the book of Enoch take it back a little bit further. Well, I'm not gonna say take it back a little bit further because it takes it to around the same time. It's like you got to pinpoint the timeline. And eventually I will make my own timeline and put a timeline out so you can see things and how they go. But I'm gonna read this because this comes from the book of Genesis. The book of Enoch comes from the book of Genesis, meaning the beginning of time, meaning the starting of time, meaning when there were men and women walking the earth, there were also angels and demons, just like now. But it was more prevalent. Angels and demons was more prevalent. You knew how to pick them out. Now it's like throwing M&Ms in a pile of Skittles in a thousand, throwing some M&Ms in a big bucket of Skittles. It's hard to find them, but they there. They there. It's just like you don't know what's demons and not because everything is this twisted. But let me read this so I can point out some things real quick. This is chapter and for the and to start this out, you don't read the Bible in certs. You read them in certs if you breaking it down. And I'm finna break it down right now. The Bible is meant to be read like a book from beginning to end. You don't read certain parts of the Bible and be like, oh, this applies to me. Only if you can break it down. That's why you're not supposed to learn religion from another man, because men can't teach religion. The way that you intake something is not the way that he intake it. For example, just throwing a clear example out there, just because you like that person don't mean that that person like me. Just because that's a likable person doesn't mean that that person likes me. We're all individual people and beings that go through different things. So with that being said, this is chapter 7. I mean chapter 6. What? Uh no, we're gonna start it out chapter 7. Chapter 7, first paragraph. Or chapter 7, verse 1, whatever, however you want to say it. Chapter 7, paragraph 1, it says, and and all the others together with them. I'm gonna take it back a little bit further so you can understand where I'm coming from and who are these people that I'm talking about. So I'm gonna just start out at chapter 6, because what I want to talk about is the beginning is in the first paragraph of chapter 7. But I want you to get a broader vision if this is your first time watching this and you really don't know anything about what I'm talking about. So it says, this is chapter 6, paragraph 1. And it came to pass, when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels of the children of the heaven saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, come, let us choose wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. Then it says, and Semjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of great sin. And they all answered him and said, let us all swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then they swore all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200, who descended in the days of Jared on Mount Summit of Mount, I mean, who all descended in the days of Jared in the summit on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And their names of their leaders, and it lists a bunch of names, about 10 names, which I'm not gonna read. And it says these are chiefs of tens. But here's what I want to highlight, and this is the paragraph I want to break down and start it out from right here on finding the Egyptian gods and goddesses, or talking about who they are. So it says, and all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go into them. Ah, restart. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go in unto them and to defile themselves with them, and they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. So I want to highlight that paragraph, and I want to highlight that sentence. When it says, "In they," no, it says, and all the others unto them took unto themselves wives. Then it says, they began to go into unto them and to defile themselves with them, meaning they begun to go with the women and have sex with them. That's a clear breakdown right there. Not only that, and they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots. A lot of y'all don't even know what that even means. So I'm gonna break that down and let y'all know where this stuff come from. So the angels, let's backtrack. The an- let's backtrack. Women are so beautiful and they give off a fragrance to men that ain't that angels even slept with them. Angels had to get a piece of it. Angels had to see what the women were about. Women look so good. Angels came down here and messed with the women. Let me read this paragraph to show you where another thing come from. But I'm still on that paragraph I just read. I just want to read this, and then I'm go ahead and break down what I'm talking about. So it says, and they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells, who consumed all the accusations of men, and when men could no longer sustain them, I'm gonna leave it at that. So that's obviously talking about women giving birth to giants. Women was had sex with angels, and them women gave birth to giants. So with that being said, it says this. Like we just can't skip across this and act like it was nothing. And they began to go unto them and to defile themselves and taught and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots. So we finna break that down because y'all don't understand. I'm not saying y'all, but I'm saying y'all. Some of y'all do. Some do. Few do. 2 out of 10 understand. 2 out of 10 understand this is somebody saying this. So, man, it says taught them charms and enchantments. Let me take it back. So, first of all, the angels taught the women. The angels that slept with them taught the women charms and enchantments. What is a charm? Let's Google what does charm mean. We got 4 definitions, but only one stands. One means what it means. Okay, so the definition of charm means, and I'm saying like this is not a coincidence, man. This is not a coincidence. Just put two and two together. It ain't two and two. Put one and one together, you get another one. It's common math, man. You put one and one together, you get another one. It's common math. You put two humans together, man and a woman, put an opposite in a put one and an opposite together, you're gonna come out with another one. That's electricity. You put an opposite side with a positive side, you get electricity. You put an opposite man with a you put a man with his opposite, which is a woman, and you're going to get another person. That's common math. So, with this being said, charm means the power, charm says the power of quality or giving delight or arousing admiration. We still going off the book of Enoch right now. We going off what it means to teach charms and enchantments and root cuttings. I can give you what my thought is, but we gotta open it up to see what it is for real. So I'm not just gonna put my thought into it. I'm gonna give you what it is, then I'll tell you my thought. The second definition, a small ornament worn on a necklace or bracelet. Ornament, ornament, ornament. What is an ornament? A sign of, a sign this, a sign that. You put it on Christmas trees and all this and that. Boom. It says the next one, used as a verb, delight greatly. Boom. The next one says control or achieve by or as if by magic. Ding, 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 ding. That's the number one right there. That's the number one definition right there. Control or achieve as if by magic. They taught them charms and enchantments. That's a verb. A verb is something that you do. So that's what they did. They taught them how to control or achieve. They taught them how to control or achieve something by magic. Boom. Charm. What does enchantment mean? Boom. Two definitions. Used as a noun. Person, place, or thing. A feeling of great pleasure, delight. That mean whatever. Then the second meaning says the state of being under a spell. Dot dot quotations, semicolon, whatever you want to call it, magic. The state of being under a spell by magic. Semicolons means by. They just didn't. They wanted to be the fancy. They wanted to do it the fancy way and put a semicolon when they could have just said the state of being under a spell by magic. So you got to know how to play these games with these white people. Ain't nobody out here doing this but these white people, man. Like, sorry to sound racist. Sorry to sound racist. Because at the end of the day, black people don't know nothing if we come from slavery. Take it as that. We're gonna take it that we come from slavery. When we just gonna take it that we come from slavery. If we come from slavery, man, we don't know nothing. And us as a black people, we're just now evolving. And so skip what you're saying. It says the state of being under a spell by magic. The state of being under a spell by magic. So we gonna take this. We already back, but I'm finna show you how this. We're gonna bring it up in current day and time. Like they play with us with these words, man. They play with us with these words, and I already dropped a video on the power of words, and I'm finna show you how they use this power of words. You gotta know how to use it. It's gonna come to you when it needs to come to you. So we're gonna take it back. We're gonna take it back. So maybe y'all don't know, or maybe y'all do know. Obviously, we see that magic is taught with woman first. The woman learns how to do magic first. The woman learned how to do magic first. Let's take it to the show charm. I know y'all remember this. I know y'all remember this show. I know y'all remember this show. This show used to come on TV a lot. Probably still come on TV. Channel 33, TNT. It used to come on channel what? I ain't gonna. It used to come on the local channels, CBS, whatever, Fox. It used to come on the local channels. But come on now, what was this show about? Witches. What was this show about? Witches. Let's get a description of what the show was. We still on Egyptian gods and goddesses, but I got to show you where this come from and how it comes. It's like I did. I ain't like the video I put out. Did a little more digging, just a little more sitting, and I see. I had to take it back a little bit further. We're gonna still go on King Tut, but he's not a main character right now. So it's a Charmed is an American fantasy drama. It's fantasized, but it's not a fantasy about this magic. It's a Charm is an American fantasy drama television series created by Constance M. Bird. Blah 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 blah. Dropping down to the sentence will highlight in my eye. It says good witches of all time. Boom. It say narrative, the series narrative follows a trio of sisters known as the Charmed Ones, the most powerful good witches of all time who use their combined power of three to protect innocent lives from evil beings such as demons and warlocks. That could be true. That could be true, right? But at the end of the day, this story didn't come from nowhere. Women were taught how to do witchcraft first. They could have wanted to protect men, right? Because we just see, as we see, as that paragraph that I read, they bear they the demons impregnated the women, and I mean the fallen angels impregnated the women and gave them giants, right? And the men couldn't fight against the giants. So maybe whatever, whatever, whatever. We ain't gonna get too far in that. I just want to show you that. So that's Charm to put you on a whatever, whatever. So Enchanted, Enchantment. It was just a movie out called Enchanted, right? Let's get Enchanted up. What it is, a fairy tale about a witch. Once again, a white witch. Once again, a white witch. Once again, a white witch. We ain't even gonna go deep into that. We ain't even gonna go deep into that story because we already know that. We already know. We see. We just pinpointed. But let's get what is root cuttings. Obviously, root cuttings is something that has to deal with voodoo. Voodoo is a form of witchcraft. Like, skip what you heard and all the above, man. Witchcraft. Voodoo deals with witchcraft. Root cuttings, cut this stick, cut this spice, cut that ginger, cut this and cut that, and put it with this and that. Come on now. So what is root cutting? They're gonna give us some gardening stuff. So we already know, but let's see what they're gonna give us. We already know to not think the obvious because we just uncovered the non-obvious. This is the power in words. Know that when you speak that. Educated people speak power in words. Educated people and people that think they know education but is a part of an organization speak power in words. You can be a dummy but still know how to speak power in words because you're around the right people that know how to talk. Meaning you're a dummy, but you know how to present yourself to talk white if you want this interview. You know how to talk white if you want to get this and get that. Man, when at the end of the whatever. So what does boom boom? Let's see what it says. Root cuttings are blah 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 blah. I don't feel like getting into that because that's that's because it also said taught them how to root cut and then it said something with plants. So we know root cutting ain't got nothing to do with gardening. Root cutting is digging up like radishes, whatever, whatever, and flipping them for your charms and enchantments to stick them. You can teach somebody a charm and an enchantment, but you ain't gonna stick if you don't have the right product. If you don't have an ornament, if you don't have your amulet, if you don't have whatever, whatever. I know you didn't see the movie Chucky. Chucky can't perform his ritual to put his body inside of Andy until he get his amulet. He has to go find his amulet, which is buried with his body. He can't ever do his ritual in none of the movies. If you pay attention, he cannot do his ritual in none of the movies until he get his amulet. Then you get to playing with the sky. He do he do his ritual, then the sky get to changing and get the thundering, this and that, blah blah. 'Cause you summoning and you practicing a different part of in the energy which used to be upon this earth. You're calling his name. He's giving you them powers because you speaking that right tongue, and now he's bringing something down to you. Like I said, when they open these vaults and tombs and this and that, they ain't doing nothing but releasing the names you've called. So let's take it back to the beginning of the beginning. It says, let me take it back. It says, listen to that. D- Egyptian gods and goddesses is not the same as Egyptian kings, as in King Tut, what's her name? Cleopatra. I can't think of no other Egyptian kings and queens, but it's a lot of them. But Obviously, look, it says Egyptian. It say after the founding of the Egyptian state around 3100 BC, the authority to perform these tasks was controlled by the pharaoh, who claimed to be the god's representative and managed the temples where the rituals were carried out. Meaning, whether they were there or not, King Tut or whatever, they were kings and queens because they supposedly say they're of God's um people, and they basically sending the word out. So what is a pharaoh? Pharaoh, it says, is the vernacular term often used for monarchs of ancient Egypt who ruled from the first dynasty until the annexation of Egypt by the Roman Republic in 30 BCE. However, regardless of gender, king was the term used most frequently by the ancient Egypt, blah, 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 blah. So, boom, there we have it. Kings and queens come from this era, but they were not the same as gods and goddesses. Gods and goddesses was praised by these kings and other people. Gods and goddesses were not them. So obviously, these have to be fallen angels, right? Because there's only one God. We're gonna take it back even further than this, though. This is still we're gonna take it back even further. We're gonna take it back even further. So let's go. That's not gonna get us there. Cause there's so many books that you have to read, man. And I done made another. I made a. It's gonna be combined, but I don't want you to feel like I'm skipping and jumping because the video may skip and jump and I may be talking about something else. It's because I found this while doing something else. So what I'm talking about in the beginning of the video, when I'm talking about magic, or it may be part one, I'm not sure, but that's still the beginning because magic was here before anything else was here. That magic teaching came then life started being formed. Sort of because you can sort of say life forms from magic. You can sort of say that's why I talk about roaches. Roaches form from magic. You don't know where a roach come from. Ain't nobody scientifically prove to you where a roach come from. But a scientist, a real scientist can. It's sort of magic like. So I'm trying to think of how to move on from here. Let's see who my eye is. But that's not where we going. I'm trying to show you it's not really um let's go to prehistory. Uh it's not in there either. Trying to see. Let's see what this is. A natural phenomena is an observable event which is not man-made. I'm tripping. Examples include sunrise, weather, fog, thunder, tornadoes, biological processes, decomposition, germination. That's birth. That's birth. That's birth. Physical processes, wave prop- propagation, erosion, tidal flow, natural disasters such as electromagnetic pulses. Electromagnetic pulses is something that pulse through our body, our heartbeat, and electromagnetic pulses is how electricity is made from a negative and a positive of rock material. A magnet is nothing no more than a rock that's found within the earth. A magnet is a rock that's found within the earth. It's a metal and in a negative rock plus a positive rock. When you put them together and you coil some things in between, that's electricity. When you coil some wire, coil some metal, coil some copper, coil some gold, whatever. When you coil it in between the middle and coils is spins wraps that makes electricity. So electricity ties into this. So when you think about it, they talking about reading ghosts, finding ghosts, and they always got things. And look, magnetism is a class of physical attributes that occur through a magnetic field, which is electricity, which allow objects to attract or repel each other because both electric currents and magnetic moments of elementary particles give rise to a magnetic field. Magnetism is one of the two aspects of electromagnetism. We ain't going into that right now, but it's just to get you there. But let's jump down because I can't. Let's see who my eye is. Because what I'm trying to get to is the it's like 18 deities or 8 deities or something, and they call them a certain name. And I want to pull that name up because everybody said we come from reptiles and this and that, whatever, whatever. And I can see why they say people come from reptiles or there are reptilians because the people are dumb out here. They're basing it off the Egyptian gods and goddesses, man. It's some teaching out here that's real and it's some teaching that's fake, but everybody want to say, "Oh, we this, we that, we that, we this." It all ties back to Egyptian history, man, because Egyptian history was the first to of Egyptian history is before Greek history, is before Roman history. Egyptian history is almost the beginning. So I feel like the Garden of Eden is in the Nile River area. And we're gonna get to that. That just comes later on. Well, it comes in the beginning, but it comes later on. Once I find what I find, when I feel like I didn't put enough out there, then I'll show you how this Mediterranean Sea and that river is magical. Really, I'm gonna just show you now. Let's get a list of them up. I was on the Greek gods and goddesses, but these could be the kids of the Egyptians, right? Because it's later on, later down, and then in the beginning of the video, I read this right, and they said that they're giants. Giants would come from who? Women they gave birth from having sex with angels. So let's take it back. So you gotta. So in all that book that I read, the Book of Enoch, in all of them were 200. Tell me this though. Does this look like 200 people? If not 200, more than 200. And if it's not real, where do y'all get these names from? If this ain't 200 people, it's close to. Oh, that's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. There's so many books out here you got to read, and you're just not gonna learn this all in one sitting. So that's why it's taking so long for me to get these videos together and get it right because I don't know what order to put it in because it's hard to teach somebody that don't know something because then they're gonna be like this and like that, and it's like I'm not presenting nothing to you fake. I'm showing you what's real, and I'm trying to make it as common s- I'm trying to make it as real enough so I can make it to you without making it seem like it's fake. Cause you will believe some other stuff, but you won't believe that magic is really real. Not the magic that the magicians do. They just playing quick and snatch you from the eye trick type stuff. I'm talking real witchcraft. That stuff is real. I'm talking real angels and demons. I'm talking real presidential power, pope power. I'm talking stuff like that. So it say this is what I was looking for right here. This is where we're gonna start it out. This is where we're gonna start it out with the Ogdode. Says pause. I have the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and it talks about the Ogdode, right? I didn't fully read the book because it has rituals and things in there, and I don't whatever, but It talks about the Ogdo. And I was reading something that I stumbled across, and it says, let me pull it up real quick. It says, it's two books out here that I need to get. One of the books are, if I will be able to find it, but I don't think I'll be able to find it because I've been already doing some research. And the book, one of the books is called, well, one of the books I can get is called the Golden Dawn book. I want to see what that's about. But that's supposed to be about magic and this and that. So I'm probably really not gonna read that like that because you don't know if they casting spells. You just don't read all the things that you should. You don't read all the things that's out there given because you don't know what you could be reading. And another book is called. Why did it take me to this? What? It won't let me go to another page. I don't know, but I ain't even gonna say it. Maybe it's not for me to say it. One of the books is a Nodism. Well, here we go right here. Nodism, something like that, and that has to deal with magic. But before we get there, let's read what the Ogdode is, because this is the beginning. This is like number two to number one, but we still have to get to zero. This is number two right here. This is number two, maybe even number three, right? This is where we should be starting. So I may put this in the beginning of the video. This may be in the beginning of the video that I drop, and then it's gonna follow with me talking about magic in the book of Enoch and this and that. This is the beginning. This will be the first video. Then I'll talk about magic and this and that. It's just, man, that I'm spending days and days and days and days and days on making these videos, and I don't really have the time. So when I do have the time, I gotta get put it together how I got it. So it may be a little jumpy on this video, but it's all there. So in Egyptian mythology, the Ogdode, ancient Greek, Greek comes after. Um, it say were eight. Listen to the words. Words speak powers. And this is what I say about the reptilians. Look at this picture. Let me read this real quick. It say were eight primordial deities worshipped in Hermopolis. The earliest certain reference to the Ogdo is from the 8th dynasty in a dictatory what? I'm tripping. In a dedicatory inscription by Hat. You read so many off-brand words, you get confused on regular words. Um, blah blah. I'm not reading that. It's a text of the late period describe them as having heads of frogs, male, and serpents, female. Hmm. Hmm. The serpent talked. Like right? The serpent talked to Eve. Was it a woman talking to Eve? And they often depicted in this way in released of the last dynasty in the Ptolemaic kingdom. It talks about the Ogdo in the Bible. It talks about Hermes in the. Let's just see, right? Google is a large lookup dictionary. If you can't find it off the bat immediately off your head, I can't go in a book and just open a book right now, the Bible, and pinpoint it if I ain't highlighted or whatever, whatever. So we finna go and do this like this. Nautism, nautism. It says nautism. It's so many books. That's what I'm saying. It's so many books out here. It's so many books. We're gonna get that up. but we're gonna go back because we need to still get another Google page up because I'm not satisfied with that. Why did it's not? Oh, it says the Bible doesn't mention it. That's my that's what this says, but my assumption, it may be this may not be a part of the Bible, but it's so many books of the that's lost from the Bible, you don't know what until you read it. But let's see what it says. The Bible doesn't mention the Ogdo, but the Ogdo is a set of Egyptian deities that some believe may be related to Noah and his family, right? Why and how would you believe that? Why? 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 Let's get the Wikipedia page back up because this is something. This is why I talk about them being the fallen angels. It mentions, but it don't mentions. It mentioned, but it don't mention. It say the concept of an Ogdo appears in Gnostic. We're gonna get up what Gnostic means. Appears in Gnostic systems. Like we going so deep. I don't even think it. We going so deep to a point we're gonna be like we shouldn't even be going so far. The concept of an Ogdo appears in Gnostic systems of the early Christian era and was further developed by theologian Valentinus 160 AD. That's when the year 160 AD after Jesus was born. Year 160. The number 8 plays an important part in the Gnostic system. Why does it play an important part? We're just saying, let's take it back. Let's see. Where did it say it at? 8. Oh, and I'm tripping. Well, it said 8, 8, 8. If Oh, there you go right there. 8 primordial deities. 8 primordial deities. 8 primordial deities. Let's take it back. And it is necessary to distinguish in the different forms in which it appeared at different stages in the development of Nazism. So I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take that back. This has nothing to do with the Bible. The more I read, I'm saying it has things to do with it because it's all still there. But the more I read, this is some magical type of stuff. This is this some magic stuff. So they say the earliest Nazism systems included a theory of seven heavens and a super celestial region called the Ogdo. Astronomical theories had introduced the concept of the seven planetary spheres with an eight above them. The sun, the sphere of the fixed star. Sun? We're gonna click into that. But this is what I'm saying. Magic is real, and in order to do magic, you have to know that the all existing is real. You have to know that God is real. So in order to do magic, you have to question things and get to the bottom of it. You're not just gonna do magic because you believe in the devil. You believe in witchcraft. You believe in everything and this and that. No, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. We still on to uncovering who these Egyptian gods and goddesses are, but along the way we find other things. Like it's just so much that you can't just uncover them from uncovering them. You have to it's like you gotta move everything to the side and you may see it's just it's it's a in the system of Valentinus, we just seen that name, the seven heavens in even the region above them were regarded as but the lowest and last stage of the exercise of creative power. Above them was the pleroma, where exhibited the first manifestations of the evolution of subordinate existence from the great first principle. This sounds like magic, so I take all that back. What I said about the Bible, but I'm saying the Bible talks about everything. So why wouldn't this be a part of the Bible? That's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying. But I'm saying the Bible talks about everything. But the Bible not going to tell you about magic. It's going to tell you, but it's not going to tell you how to do magic. That's the lost part of the Bible. That's the part that we should know. That's the teaching from heaven. We should not know magic. We should not know math. We should not know science. We should not know astrology. Because when you know those things, you can do better things, bigger and better things that you shouldn't do as a human. So, once again, if I didn't say it in this video, think about Chucky. Chucky could not do his ritual until he got his amulet, a teaching that he shouldn't have not known. It's like you cannot make electricity until you get them certain rocks, which is jewels, which is amulets, which is powerful possessions, which is natural materials of the earth that we don't know about that we should not have. Gold, I don't feel like it's figured out yet. It could be for the higher ups, but we don't know what gold is. We call a magnet, but a magnet is a rock that comes from the earth. Mm. That's what I'm saying. Everything has a special value to this earth. But this gets deep because I see this wheel. That's some magic stuff. Like man, like I say, in order to do the teaching and know the teaching, you got to know that God is real. So whatever you believe in, your believers and non-believers that really do this stuff know He's real. The president know He real. The- Everybody in above know He's real. But let's take it back. Can we go deeper into the Ogdo? Let's see what planetary spheres mean. It say the celestial spheres or celestial orbs were the fundamental entities of the cosmological models developed by Plato, Exodus, whatever Ptolemy. That name keeps popping up. We need to click on him to the Ptolemy dynasty, this and that. Copernicus, and others. In these celestial models, the apparent motions of the fixed stars and planets are accounted for by treating them as embedded in rotation spheres made of an ethereal, transparent fifth element, quintessence, 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 whatever, like gems set in orbs. Mm. Since it was believed that fixed stars did not change their positions relative to one another, it was argued that they must be on surface of a single starry sphere. Like, man, this let's see who Ptolemy is, man. These was some philosophers for real. These people back in the days, man, they were some real philosophers. He lived in 100 through 170. He was in them early ages, thinking like a mug. Well, he called himself Ptolemy, but the Ptolemy dynasty was before him. Why do he call himself Ptolemy? He not even something we should be looking at right now, because he's not even in the Ptolemy. What? Let's go back. Let's get it up here. Man, how you spell that? Yeah, like they don't even know when he was born though. But still, so this is Roman ruled, Macedonian, Greek, Roman ruled. This was definitely white people. So, and he's a white man, name stealer, name stealer, name stealer. But let's go back to the Ogdo again. Let's get that picture up. Look at him. Let's get that picture up. You see that? Let's get deeper into it now. Now we need to go into names. So this is where that water that I was talking about, because this is where that water go. This stuff type of stuff is in the Egyptian Book of the Dead right here. Like I said, it talks about the Ogdo. Let's see what all pictures they got before I click some names. Look, so now we know magic is real, right? We know magic is real. We know magic is real. We know spirits is real. It's a book that I'm not gonna mention because once I kept trying to click it on my phone, 'cause I got the page picked up on my phone. Every time I kept clicking the page, it'll take me to another page, and I got it in a tab. I click the tab, and it take me back to another tab. So maybe right now I'm not gonna put that name of the book out, cause then who knows who I'm talking to? You may really go out there and try to do some magic. If you're gonna do that magic stuff, you're gonna find it on your own. I ain't gonna. I'm whatever, but whatever you take out of it, take out of it. Like you ain't get that stuff from me. So it's a book that goes deeper than this that talks about how the Ogdos got here. But we're gonna still uncover that within here because by me doing my research, I still found out how they got here by clicking names and reading on these people and who they are. First name we're gonna start out with is Nu. That we just seen this picture, right? What did I in earlier in this video, later in this video, or in another video? Remember when we seen that Greek person? Oh, let's pull him up. Let's pull him up. Let's pull him up. Let's pull him up, man. Let's pull him up. Before we go to my aunt, she's significant. Dang, let's get another Wikipedia page up. Um, what was it? What was it? Mesopotamia. Man, Mesopotamia. What? Man, why I just don't like it be knowing where I'm going? Why I take all that? Let's get the picture up. Boom, 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 bam. So I don't know if you can see that bottom part. You can now. Now you can. Now you see the squiggly lines under his whatever he's on? The squiggly lines, whether he's standing or floating, squiggly lines, and you see the the little dragon. So that takes me back to Chinese religion. Dragons are real. Were dragons dinosaurs? Or was dragons of their own kind? And dragons are under the ground right now. Sounds superstitious, supernatural, whatever. This stuff is real. Let's take it back. Bam. What do we see? Squiggly lines. Also, what do those squiggly lines represent? Water, Aquarius, aqua, water. What do those squiggly? What is color is this lady? Blue with what? Squiggly lines. Squiggly lines. Squiggly lines. There she goes, blue. There she goes. Egyptian Book of the Dead. Damn. Let's see who she is. Right? Let's see who she is. Nu. Her name is Nu or Nun. Is an ancient Egyptian religion. What? Or Nun. In ancient Egyptian religion is the personification of the primordial watery abyss which existed at the time of creation and from which the creator sun god Ra arose. So you telling me, first of all, nobody has gotten to the bottom of the ocean. Has anybody gotten to the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea? I think not. I think not. I think not. I think not. The this stuff so deep you can't even comprehend. I can't comprehend it because it don't sound all the way real. Is it real? You know it's an abyss. The deeper you go in anything, you know it gets abyssy. Like, and if abyss, if you don't know, is doom, hell. Just as you can go deep in on a dry land, you can go deep in some water to where you like, where am I? How do I get out? What did I do? Let's pick it. Primordial watery abyss. You see that though? Primordial watery abyss. You see that though? That's the same. That's primordial watery abyss is all a part of the same word, but it separates it. Primordial watery abyss. It separates it. But let's see what abyss. Let's go back to primordial waters first. Primordial watery and primordial watery. Primordial water goes, and when you click it, it takes you to cosmic ocean. A cosmic ocean, cosmic sea, primordial waters, or celestial river is a mythological motif that represents the world or cosmos enveloped by a vast primordial ocean. What does that sound like? Found in many cultures and civilizations, the cosmic ocean exists before the creation of Earth. What does that sound like? From the primordial waters, the Earth, and the entire cosmos arose. The cosmic ocean represents or embodies chaos. Dang. The cosmic ocean takes form in the mythology of blah 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 blah. All them names you see them in other many world mythologies. Dang. I don't know if we should be believing that right now. We'll talk about the globe. It say the emergence of the earth from water and the curbing of the global flood or underground water is usually usually presented as a factor in cosmic ordering. I don't know about all that. We out of that. Let's cook abyss. The abyssal zone, is they talking about the Bermuda Triangle? Are they lying to us where the Bermuda Triangle is? Why would they call the ocean part? Let's get that up. Let's get that up. Man, what I was gonna do? So they call this area the Bermuda Triangle. What? That don't even make sense. From Florida somewhere to Africa, this little region in the North Atlantic Ocean, somewhere, maybe somewhere around this little area, from Florida, Puerto Rico to Africa. This area. Why in the world would you call this Bermuda Triangle when it's nothing but space? But the Delta, the Nile Delta, is right here. Is right here. We're gonna get into that. I'm not sure if I didn't get into that yet in this video. It was the last video that's now deleted. So this is the Nile Delta, which is a triangle, and I will go further into that. because I have to. You telling me the Bermuda Triangle is over here and not over here somewhere? That doesn't make sense. Come on now, the government lied to us, man. They lie to us every day. They come on now, they lie to us. They want us to get over slavery. Like they lie to us about slavery. Like the government is not to be trusted. White men are not to be trusted. Sorry to say it. Sorry to say it. Sorry to say it. All not the same. White women ain't to be trusted either. All not the same. They're all not the same. They're all not the same. But they don't like us. They don't like black people. So until then, prove to me otherwise. They all want to. Man, I ain't get that. It say the abyssal zone or the abyssopelagic zone is a layer of the pelagic zone of the ocean. The word abyss comes from a Greek word bottomless, exactly, because you can't get to the bottom of the ocean. You may can go to the bottom of some parts of the small part of the ocean, but the real ocean, deep blue sea, you're not going to the bottom of it. At the depths of 4,000 to 6,000, blah, blah, the zone remains in perpetual darkness. It covers 83% of the total area of the ocean and 60% of the Earth's surface. The abyssal zone has temperatures around 2 through negative 3, 2 through 3 degrees Celsius, 36 to 37 degrees Fahrenheit. That's refrigerator temperatures down there. They ain't get to the bottom. They just giving you these numbers. They ain't get all the way to the bottom because if you got all the way to the bottom, how did you get back up to the top? Through the large majority of its mass, the water pressure can reach up to 76 miles per hour. How did you get down there and get back up? Y'all got to where some places where y'all seen that it was dangerous. Okay, we shouldn't go no farther. They didn't touch the bottom of the ocean because you will see some things that'll make you want to unsee some things. You will see some things to probably be like, dang. It'll have you questioning everything. As there is no light, photosynthesis cannot occur. So what you think down there? And there are no plants producing molecular oxygen, O2, which is which instead primarily comes from the ice that had melted long ago from the polar regions. The only way you can get down is maybe to the bottom of the ocean if you throw a camera down there that got tracking that you can track and look at while it's going down there. And even then, the camera may hit something that don't even go all the way to the bottom. They say the water along the seafloor of this zone is largely devoid of molecular oxygen, resulting in a death trap for organisms unable to quickly return to the oxygen-rich water above or to survive in a low oxygen environment. If fish don't go down there, how can a human go down there? Not only that, I guarantee thousands have died trying. This region also contains a much higher concentration of nutrient salts like nitrogen, phosphorus, and silica due to a large amount of dead organic material that drifts down from the ocean's zones above and decomposes. The region below the abyssal zone is the sparsely inhabited has blah 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 blah. Let's take it back to new. So we see the bottom of the ocean is is a mystery, is mysterious, is mysterious. Boom, she said from the waters. They said from the waters. So this is what I say. These are fallen angels because if God is from up top, why would He make things submerge and emerge from the water? Because spirits are out. If these are even angels, because now it's sounding like a myth. But we know it's not a myth, and this is how. The Rosetta Stone was found by the waters. Um, what else was found by the water? Uh, can't think of it. Can't think of it. Can't think of it. But the other thing that's on my mind, the Nile Delta is over there, which the Nile River travels is how can I put it? The Nile River is essential. It's a lot of things along the Nile River that's found. Also, not only was the Rosetta found stone found over there, all the Egyptian gods and goddesses came from that time. Teachings, rituals, and all these things was found in the town of Luxor. Luxor is not that far from Rosetta. Rosetta is where the Rosetta Stone was found. They say they emerged from the waters of the obviously the Mediterranean Sea, which connects to the Nile River because the Nile River flows through Egypt. That's why they call it a river. So it sounds mythy, but something has to be a little bit true. Because if they was cast out of heaven, how would you think they would get to earth? And they were spirits. They were cast out of heaven. You may assume they would walk out of water. They would come from the waters because all life is formed from water. Where else would they come from? They're not gonna come walking out of a rock. They're not gonna come walking out of the sky. They're not gonna come falling out of the sky. They're spirits. They're spirits. And they emerge from the water with the teachings that they stole and taught upon us. Why you think witchcraft is so real? Because it's teachings that we don't know. And obviously, witchcraft was taught to the women first. Let's click Ra. It say Ra was the ancient Egyptian deity of the sun by the fifth dynasty in the 25th, 24th centuries BC. He had become one of the most important gods in ancient Egyptian religion, identified primarily with the noonday sun. Ra ruled in all parts of the created world, the sky, the earth, and the underworld. He was believed to have ruled as the first pharaoh of ancient Egypt. He was the god of the sun, order of the kings in the sky. He was god of the sun, order, kings in the sky. Notice this though, when they talk about all these Egyptians, this and that, this and that, this and that, they'll never mention heaven, underworld in the sky, underworld in the sky, underworld in the sky. They'll never mention heaven. And snakes not good. They all be having snakes and stuff. Snakes not good. Man, we still on her because we got more to go. So this off top lets you know that that Greek stuff comes after. So don't go off Greek teachings. Don't go off of Mesopotamian gods and goddesses because they're later in time. Israel is real. Israel is real. Israel is a lot of good finding over there. Israel is where Jesus was born. So is it letting us know, man? And I think for the time being, I'm gonna end it there because I got a little more things to do, and I'm a little bit satisfied with this video, so I'm gonna combine these two or whatever, and I may jump it in after this or whatever, but I'm gonna combine these videos, and then this is gonna be part one. So by the time once again this video be put out, the other video will be deleted because this I have to start in the beginning with the teachings of what being was being taught of while it was being taught before I go into other things. I can't just go in the middle going back. I gotta try to start out in the beginning. And we on step two We still got to get to step zero, but we still got to go forward. But this, I'm satisfied with starting right here because this where is where we like weighing it, like what's this and what's not, because it all comes from somewhere. Like all them Egyptian gods and goddesses, Osiris, all the above, Thoth, all that stuff comes from this.